Hey guys, welcome out to the range. Today I wanted to answer a comment that was made the other day about, actually I should probably put that magazine back, a comment that was made about magazines taped together. And the notation that I made was that mag, what was it, that taped mag thing or something like that. In fact, I may just call the video that taped mag thing. And what it was, the guy said, the guy basically said, you know, that whole Vietnam style thing. And I'm like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. And it's basically where you would take another magazine and you would tape it to the mag that's in your rifle, and you would tape them like this, so that this mag would come out of the gun, and then you would basically either do, you would basically do this to get the other one back in, or you would put it to your body and you would rotate it some way. The short answer is this. Why I don't do that is because you have to consider that when you're wearing your rifle, well, you have to consider that when you're carrying your rifle for a self-defense purpose in a social breakdown scenario, which is now the entire world has seen what that looks like, Ukraine. First world country that has rapidly turned into a third world crap hole. And people are now having to roll down the street with rifles on. And what ends up happening is you wear a rifle for a protracted period of time, and this muscle group right here ends up getting this doink, 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 doink from your rifle, which, by the way, is why I sew bungee into my slings. That and the fact that it keeps you from having to constantly adjust the sling. But this little bit of bounce that you get off of my sling when you're walking erases a lot of the weight of this rifle. When I was doing the testing for these slings, I made slings without webbing, and like 30 minutes I went, oh, no, not even doing that, not even doing that. Bungee is going into these slings. The reason that I'm bringing this up about the magazines is, why would I take and add, these two mags are fully loaded, and I forget what a loaded mag weighs. I'll put it here on the screen, but a loaded P mag with 29 rounds in it, you take and you double that by duct taping these two together. So now I've got that much more weight hanging off of my body in the front. Why would I further complicate my life by adding that extra load to my lower back, to my upper back, well, to my back, lower, mid, and upper? Because the rifle is going to do this to me constantly. Not to mention, if I'm wearing a plate carrier or a chest rig, I have a lot of top load and it's pulling me forward. Or take into consideration your wife, your girlfriend, your mom. If you got to put a weapon on one of your loved ones, the last thing you want to do is put a lot of weight on them, which is why lightweight builds like this 13.7 are a great idea, and lightweight magazine setups are also a great idea. Even consider a 20 rounder. Although here's what I would do. I would take a 30 rounder and I would download it to 20 if you want to reduce the weight out front. The reason you want the 30 is this rifle on the deck is a monopod, and it creates a lot of stability for long shots. You guys have seen me lay down and hit the target up on the hill at 300 yards, or from this ridge to that ridge over there at 400 yards. So I say to you, consider not just the immediate world that you're thinking about, and try to say, what could I find myself having to do with this rifle, and what kind of an environment would I find myself potentially having to wear my rifle in? And the answer to that is for a long period of time. And once you look at it from that point of view, it totally changes what your setup is going to be. Look guys, I will tell you right now, those of you who have known me for a long time have watched as my rifle's optic setups have gotten taller and taller and taller. And now they're at full height, which is the Dental Defense Rock and Lock aim point mount with the base plate, so that it's all the way up to a lower third as opposed to an absolute co-witness. Why is it this high? Because I found that I needed the ability to bring the rifle up to my shoulder and immediately see what I needed to see, as opposed to having to do that deal and get down low. Because if I find myself in a position where all of a sudden there's a threat in front of me, I need to be able to find my shot and take my shot and not have to work to get down on that gun. I can just visualize what I got to do and do it. And you can't do that if your optics are too low. In fact, you can even do the thing where you basically bring the gun to your face versus your face to the gun. So basically, this is bringing my face to the gun, and this is bringing the gun to my face. Hit once again, darn near in the same spot, because this versus this at 70-ish, 80 yards doesn't matter a hill of beans. It only really matters when you get out in the hundreds of yards that turning the rifle on its side causes problems. So reducing the weight that you're wearing, especially on the front of your body, makes a massive amount of difference for your survivability. And I don't mean like when bullets are flying. I mean just like wearing your gun when you're moving around with it. Lightweight is always going to be the best option. If you study, I will leave you with this, if you study the history of light infantry units, what you will find is, historically, they would shed a great deal of protective capability for mobility. And what I'm getting at is, they were more interested in shedding, and I'm talking about like in modern warfare times, like moving like from the 50s and up. In fact, Charlie Beckwith of Delta Force, trained and studied with the Special Air Service, I want to say late 60s or 70s. Late 60s or early to mid 70s, I forget which. But anyways, Charlie Beckwith realized that they sacrificed a great deal for mobility of the individual man. And mobility means survivability in the combat environment. And of course, now what we're looking at is I think it's known as MOUT, Military Operations on Urbanized Terrain, MOUT. We're seeing it now. And so those of us who have done CQC in close quarters vehicles have like this little sliver of understanding. And if you seek to be in the training environment, supporting trainers, trying to find ways to be there to support trainers who have that knowledge, you will find ways to get that knowledge from guys. Take them to dinner, okay? Take him and his wife to dinner. Talk with these folks. Learn from them. You go to church with these people. Identify who they are. Learn from them. Because, folks, we have got to pull together as a community of like-minded, God-fearing Christian patriots if we're going to take this country back. And if you don't even realize what I'm talking about, shame on you. Turn off all the streaming services, and pay attention to what's going on in the world around you, because America's in trouble. As always, I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for your sling purchases. I thank you for your donations. I thank you for your upper and rifle purchases. Tier 1 Citizen is a user-supported channel. If you want to make a donation, you can go to tier1citizen.com, scroll up a little bit, look for Chuckles, my logo, this little guy right here. You're going to find him on the screen, and click on him and run that slider up as high as you want. I thank you for your support. God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.